And so now today, we want to proceed to further elaborate on the subject of methodology for the study of Ilmu Akhir Zaman. And we are now fully immersed in a branch of knowledge called epistemology. Listen to the word epistemology, the study of knowledge. What are the sources of knowledge? What are the kinds of knowledge? How do you validate knowledge, and so on? And now we turn to proceed further to the next step. We turn to, I don't need to explain to a Muslim audience, I don't need to explain that Nabi Isa alayhi salam would return. But to a non-Muslim audience and to the Ahmadiyya who have rejected this, and they are woefully misguided. And the problem with the Ahmadiyya, at least not all, most of them, is you can't talk to them. They're so brainwashed. They have lost the capacity to think. That is brainwashing. So they reject the belief that Nabi Isa alayhi salam will return. And once you reject that belief, forget it, you do not have an eschatology. You cannot understand Akhir Zaman. You are woefully misguided. So now then, we don't have to return to that subject, on the subject of the return of Jesus alayhi salam, because our people already know that. But our Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam told us that before Nabi Isa alayhi salam returns, that Allah will release someone into the world who would seek to impersonate Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And since Nabi Isa alayhi salam, is the Messiah, and the Messiah, according to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, is one who would be Hakim, who would rule. Hakim means rule. Not rule downtown Chicago, ruling the whole world. And when we say someone rules the world, we imply by that there's no rival to his rule. That is ruling the world. There's no rival to the rule. It doesn't mean that you have to establish your rule in every square inch of downtown Chicago. Very good. And so now we are introduced to Al-Masih al-Dajjal, who is going to seek to impersonate Nabi Isa alayhi salam. I would suggest that you read my book, The Quran, Dajjal, and the Jasad, in order to be able to get from the Quran an introduction to Dajjal, but we don't have the time for that today. That's not our subject for today. But our Prophet said about Dajjal that he would be released into the world and he would eventually rule the world from Jerusalem. He would proclaim himself to be Al-Masih al-Dajjal. And he cannot proclaim himself to be the Messiah and get the Jews to accept that his claim is correct unless he's ruling the world. That's the implication. And ruling the world from a state of Israel. And so when you see the Jews being brought back to Jerusalem and to the Holy Land, after 2,000 years of exile, and your response is to eat your biryani and go home and sleep, what kind of a scholar are you? And when you see that a state of Israel is restored in the Holy Land, and it makes the claim that it is the Holy Israel of Nabi Dawood and Nabi Sulaiman alayhim salam, and your response to that is to eat your biryani and go home and sleep, what kind of scholarship is that? And now it is plain and clear. The Prime Minister of Israel declared, "We control the United States of America." anybody else had said that, the U.S. would declare war, the Marines would land. But the Prime Minister of Israel says that, and no one's even squeak in the United States, indicating it's true. And if the United States is the ruling state in the world, and that is the state of Israel, you can recognize that Israel is well on its way to ruling the world. The present lockdown, for example, the present lockdown around the world, which is unique, is a startling evidence that Dajjal already has established a significant rule over the whole world. This is startling evidence, dazzling evidence. Now then, it's necessary for us, since we know the Malhama is around the corner, the Malhama being Armageddon, and we know of the prophecy of Nabi Muhammad والسلام, that the next event after the Malhama is the conquest of Constantinople. So those who declare that the conquest of Constantinople, which occurred long years ago, you can tell them, go back to the museum and live in the museum. You don't belong to our people, the Jamaat of people who think. Huh? Go back to the museum, please. The conquest of Constantinople will take place shortly after the Malhama. And I have news for you. I am of the opinion that most of North Africa are going to be in that army that will conquer Constantinople. There'll be lots from Algeria. Oh, yes, from Mauritania. There'll be those from Morocco and Tunisia. There'll be Egyptians and Libyans. Oh, yes, I believe there'll be more people from North Africa than from the heart of the Arab world. And there will be Kurdish Muslims. Oh, yes, lots of Kurds will be in that army. And they will fight to liberate Constantinople. Why? You remember? So we can return Hagia Sophia to the Orthodox Christian world. And when Hagia Sophia, the cathedral of Hagia Sophia, is returned to the Christian world, and we offer an apology for what was done, that this changing of the status of the cathedral to make it a masjid was something. Listen to my words, because I choose my words carefully, and Turkey and the Balkans will not stop me. It was shameful what Sultan Muhammad Fatih did in transforming that Christian cathedral into a masjid. It was shameful. It was disgraceful. It was manifestly sinful. And our Prophet, Allah's blessings be upon him, has praised that army and praised the commander who will conquer Constantinople. Why? Because we will return Hagia Sophia to the Orthodox Christian world. We will apologize to the Christian world for what was done. And when that happens, no one can stop the alliance of the Ummah of Muhammad والسلام, with the Ummah of Nabi Isa والسلام. And if you do not like my words, go take a holiday. Go take a holiday. You're not going to have me as your little gramophone record repeating what you want to say. Not at all. This will... Did you hear me? Whether you like it or you don't, when Hagia Sophia is returned, listen to me. You can't stop me. You can't tell me what to say. When Hagia Sophia is returned, this will cement the friendship and alliance between the Ummah of Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam and the Ummah of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. You don't like that? Go home and sleep. Those are my words. Now then, we are told that it is after the conquest of Constantinople that Dajjal will appear. The Khuruj of Dajjal will take place. And so it is in the essence of Islamic eschatology that we must pay careful attention to what our Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, about Dajjal. Not only did he say that he would be a Jew, not only did he say that he would be a young man, and that he would be powerfully built, and that he would have the curls, the sides, I think they call sideburns, that the Orthodox Jews still have, because it's there in the Torah in order to keep it like that. But here comes the crucially important event in the study of Dajjal, the false Messiah. Listen carefully. And my Christian, there are lots of Christians who are listening to me now. There are even Hindus who are listening to me because they're interested in the subject. I'm sure there are Jews who are also listening. And I'm not hostile to the Jewish faith. I don't speak insultingly about the Jewish faith, but I will never bow and submit to an oppressor. And I ask my Jewish brothers who are like that, do not support this oppressor state of Israel, not at all. Now then, this is what our Prophet said. I won't take much time again today. He said about Dajjal, would you please put on your thinking caps? He said every prophet has warned his people about Dajjal. And the prophet Noah, that is Noah alayhi salam, he warned his people about Dajjal. And so this is a subject which has been taught all through history. There must be evidence and knowledge about Dajjal with the Hindus. We have to help the Hindu to locate it in his scriptures. There has to be even knowledge about Dajjal in the Torah and in the Gospel and in the Buddhist scriptures. It must be there. But our Islamic scholarship, we have to reach out to help them to locate what they have about Dajjal, and that will then be of benefit to us as well. So this is what he said. And the Prophet Noah alayhi salam, the Prophet Noah, he also warned his people about Dajjal. But this is Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam speaking, I am going to tell you something about Dajjal which no one has said before me. So Allah saved the best for the last. Or perhaps he saved that which was most crucially important of all. He saved it for the last prophet. What is it? I'm going to tell you something no one ever said before me. He said, Dajjal sees with one eye. He's blind in the right eye. It looks like a bulging grape. But your Lord, Allah, is not one-eyed. Between his eyes, on his forehead, is written the word disbeliever, kafir. And every mu'min, meaning someone who has faith, and we Muslims, we don't have a monopoly on faith, okay? There's faith outside of our community as well. And every mu'min, whoever has faith, would be able to read the word Dajjal, whether he is katib, that is literate, or ghayru katib, that is illiterate, whether he can read and write or whether he cannot read and write, he'll still be able to read the word kafir. Here is our introduction to epistemology and to those first two chapters of Iqbal's book. When you are confronted with this data, this information, you have to decide, is this an ayah muhkama or is it an ayah mutashabihah? Is it like the barefooted shepherds and the tall buildings? Or is it like the slave woman giving birth to her mistress needs interpretation? And the answer is, if you consider this to be plain and clear, then when Dajjal appears in Jerusalem, I may not live to see it, but you may live to see it. And he declares that I am the Messiah. And you look on his face and you see that he has two eyes, he's seeing with two eyes. Guess what you do? Shall I tell you? Huh? You say, no, he can't be Dajjal because he's seeing with two eyes. And the Prophet said, Dajjal sees with one eye. That is the problem we have with your bogus methodology. Yes, you are schoolboys. You're schoolboys with this methodology of yours. Even young people now listening to me can understand that this is not ayah muhkama. This is ayah mutashabihah. That when the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, that Dajjal sees with the left eye symbolizes external sight. Did you hear that? And when he said that he is blind in the right eye symbolizes, the right eye symbolizes that he is internally blind. And all those who followed Dajjal would also be internally blind. We're seeing a lot of people following Dajjal in this lockdown. I don't want to get them embarrassed, and I don't want to pick a fight with them. But my listening audience there would be able to see the insight to know who are those who are following that. It's so funny, who are following Dajjal in this lockdown, okay? Let's not pursue the subject any further. And so the great danger that comes from Dajjal is epistemological. That he not only is internally blind, but he seeks to reduce all of mankind to internal blindness. And that road is called today the road of secularism, the secular state, the secularization of knowledge. Yeah, you go to university, and never, ever in the university are you taught, except in the department of religion, about angels, about the last day, about Allah. No. Take this out of the curriculum. You are studying knowledge here, and that does not qualify as knowledge. That is secular education. And so we have legions of people now over these last 100 years who are the products of a secular educational system and who are now just like Dajjal. They are internally blind. That is the danger. That is the danger. And if you want to study Islamic eschatology, you cannot do it unless and until you see with two eyes. Two eyes. Now on his forehead is written the word kafir, indicating that he is the leader who leads people to kufr, to destroy your faith. That's his mission, because it's written on his forehead. It's not that you have to turn on the lights, let's see his forehead. Oh no, I'm not seeing anything written on his forehead. He cannot be Dajjal. That's what those people with the wrong, the bogus methodology, when he stands up in Jerusalem, they say, no, he can't be Dajjal. Why? The man is seeing with two eyes. He can't be Dajjal. Why? Look, nothing written on his forehead. Nothing on his forehead. This is what we have as scholarship today. If you are belonging to that Jamaat and you listen to me, I hope you'll wake up. I hope you'll wake up. That the The word kafir written on the forehead is not to be understood literally. The word kafir written on the forehead is that he is going to lead you to kufr. There is kufr today. Kufr means disbelief, the destruction of belief. There is kufr today in the political system. There's kufr today in the economic system, in the market, in the monetary system. There's kufr today in the educational system. There's kufr today in the feminist revolution. Kufr is all around us today. And today, from the time you follow Dajjal, you're following him to the road of kufr, and that's going to take you into the hellfire.